So we all saw the Australian breakdancer at the Olympics, and I think we've seen a ton of memes, GIFs, reels, whatever you want to say about these things. And there's some absolutely hilarious ones. She's absolutely gone viral in multiple different ways, and all eyes are on her. Now, the reason I mention that in correlation to marriage is because of the last line I just said. All eyes are on her. There's probably more eyes and seen things from her than any other event, than gymnastics, than swimming. Maybe the closest one would be track and field, but to be honest with you, I've seen more things about her than about Noah Lyles winning the 100. And that's probably the most coveted event in the Olympics. And so why I'm saying this in correlation to marriage is because what she did there is what we all need to do in marriage. And honestly, it's one of my favorite lessons I teach in our program is being different. Now, with her doing that at the Olympics, I'm not sure that I absolutely love that because there are rules and things and standards for like the breakdancing that I think people need to try to like have the best of the best there. I'm not saying she's terrible or anything. She can dance 10 times better than I can. But so that's on a different context and different spot. But just for marriage reasons, here's how this plays into it. We all are created unique and chosen by God to stand out differently. Not one person has the exact same thumbprint as you, not even an identical twin. Nobody in history has ever had the exact same thumbprint as you. That's how unique we are. That's how special God's created us. And he says, I knew you before you were in the womb. Like that's how special you are and how uniquely chosen you are. But for somewhere along the way, because of culture and what that is, it says, remember at like a school or something, or even in this day and age, they go, ooh, that person's different. And they say different in a negative way of like, ooh, they don't fit in the box of you need to be this, this, and this. You know how culture says you need to go to high school, you need to go to college, you need to get a house, a picket fence, and 2 kids. And then you retire at 65. That's not what life's about. That's what society told you. Everybody wants to put you in this box. Just do this, 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 and this. Well, then you don't stand out. You're just like everybody else. You're cookie cutter. And that's not what people are attractive. When people are attracted to their spouses in the beginning, it's because they're different. You're learning about your spouse. Oh, really? You're into that? Really? That's so cool. And then you ask questions about it and it makes you exciting. It would be like we would never watch another movie if it was the exact same movie every single time with just different characters and maybe in a different location. It would be the same thing, but that's what most marriages are these days. People follow the rules of life and go through that. They don't stand out. They're not unique. They're not different. They're not authentic because they're worried about what other people think of them more so than what their spouse thinks of them. So they start becoming closed in on this box and they're not themselves. Well, she went out there, this breakdancer, and just let it rip. She obviously knew, she 100% knew the backlash that would be coming from this. But she went out there and was herself. Now, outside of marriage reasons, right? I guarantee you this chick's going to make millions of dollars because of that, from merchandise, from being on talk shows, from maybe writing a book, from growing her social media and becoming an influencer and all that different stuff. Now, is that why she did it? I don't believe so. I believe she did it because she just wanted to be unique and different. In marriage specifically, we need to do that. Why? And I'm going to break down this for you in multiple different ways. But number one, here's 4 things that I say that every single man and woman needs in our life. Number 1, we need a deep relationship with God, a deep relationship with God. Number 2, we need to be authentic. Number 3, we need to be vulnerable. And number 4, we need to have connection. And I'm going to break that down for you. When you have a deep relationship with God, you will understand how chosen and unique and special you are. When you understand that and you understand it's of God, then that gives you permission to be authentic and you just be yourself and you're just that at all times. And when you're authentic, that gives you permission to be vulnerable because you're not worried about what anybody else thinks about you. So you just share who you are, your thoughts, your feelings, your excitements, your joys, your dreams, all of that stuff. And that vulnerability creates connection. And connection gives every single person the one thing we all want, which is love. But if you're not vulnerable, you'll never have a deep connection. You'll have connection, but it won't be as deep, and they won't love you for actually being who you are. And if you're not authentic in yourself, you'll never be vulnerable because you'll be worrying what other people think. And if you don't have a deep relationship with God, you won't know what your authentic self really is, who you really are, because you don't know why God created you. You only know who you are by God telling you that. We can all try to guess and go in all these different directions, but you'll only fully know about that with God. God will be the one who shows you that. And so I'm telling you that to give you permission, saying, hey, man, you're authentic and you're unique and different. But in a marriage status like this, I use this line all the time. I say, my wife had sex with 12 different men last year. Some of those guys, or no, all of those guys were men of faith, businessmen, and I knew all of those men very well because all 12 of those men were me. I became a better and better and better man as every single month the year went on. January, I was one man. February, I was a better man. March, I was a better man because I became different every single month because I was growing and becoming better. The cool thing is my wife's done that same exact thing. And that's how our intimacy life has gotten better and better and better every year. That's why we're no longer in the that's why the honeymoon phase is always still going and never ending. Is because we're always becoming a little bit different. What she loves about me isn't that I'm just like every other guy. I'm a goofball. I crack jokes all the time. I'm extremely an alpha at times. I'm passionate and driven. And I have this unique personality that's just me. I wear the same black t-shirt every single day. That's just me. I'm not saying for you to wear the same black t-shirt. I'm saying wear whatever you want to wear. Be who you are. And when we do that, that's attractive. Now that's on the attraction thing because you stand out different than the next. And you're constantly becoming different and different and different, which keeps it fresh and exciting. It'd be the same way if you're in the gym and you just do 10 reps every single time with the same weight, you're never going to grow your muscle anymore because you've plateaued. It's the same way if you ate just pepperoni pizza every single day, you're going to at least want pizza with maybe some jalapenos or pineapple. Just switch up the different toppings from time to time. Be different. But you don't want the same thing every day, all the day. It's the same thing in marriage. Just be your authentic self. But here's also the thing. When you're rebuilding trust in your marriage, how do you do that? You just don't stop doing the thing and ask for forgiveness. Let's say you cheated on your spouse. Or let's say maybe you did something awful, but wasn't cheating, but something else, right? You know how you rebuild trust in your marriage? By becoming different. But if you're still the same person who's doing all those things, you still go to the bar, you still watch porn, or let's not even saying those things. You still do the same habits every single day that you did before. You hang out with the same friends that you did before. Your personality is the exact same as it was before. Your body's the same as it was before. Every single thing is the same before. You may have asked for forgiveness and maybe stopped doing the infidelity or whatever it was. It's going to take so long for them to trust you again because you're still being the same person. You have to be different. You have to remove those things from your life that made you that type of person, and you have to add new things in. That's what our BMR method is that we teach. That's why it's so effective. Literally, I just got a message today, no joke. I'll read it to you guys right now because it was that good. Literally, a guy's been in our program for 1 week, and I wasn't even planning on reading this to you guys. He said, man, just in 1 week of being in the group and by your influence, it got me out of stagnant mode. Communication with my bride has really pulled through. Just by the new thought and renewing of my mind has lit my fire back up. Thank you, brother, and thank you, Jesus. I feel like I'm back, baby. Can't wait to see where this will take me. I'm on fire. Like that's after 1 week of like removing things, starting to become different. Because one of the first lessons I teach him is different and all these things. And I go way deeper than I'm going to go in this video here and how to do it and all these other things. But when you stand out as differently, your wife sees you different. But if you show up the same way every single day, you won't notice it. It'd be like if you just go on the same drive every single day to work and all of a sudden there's this one building's burned down. You're going to be like, whoa, that's different. You're going to take notice. But if it's the exact same buildings every single day, you won't even notice till something's different. You want your wife to always be noticing something different in you for the better. And so that's where I'm encouraging you. And that's why I was encouraged by this person who was at the Olympics doing her thing. Now, like I said, it's maybe wasn't the best place and time to do it, but it got us thinking. In Romans 8:28 in the Bible, God says, God works all things together for good for those who love him. All things. He's taking that and he's working it together for good. And I'm not saying just through this right here, but for all things. And it's just so cool what happens. Let's take you and be different. So I want you today, this is my action step for you. For the rest of the week, in every decision and action you make, start saying, I'm going to do this differently, but in a better different in all these things that I'm doing. If I normally, when I'm done with eating dinner, I put my plate in the sink and I'll get to it later, wash it then and put it away. If you normally, when you come home from work and you just throw your shoes right by the front door and you put them away by the end of the night, put them away right then. It's just small things like that. You wash your hands in the bathroom at work and there's a paper towel that's on the floor, pick it up and throw it in the trash can. It's doing those things better and a little bit differently. That it's weird how it fills your cup, but people start noticing it's different. When you stand out like that you're different, good things happen in your life and in other people's lives. And that will take your marriage to levels that never stop growing. Marriages stop growing when we stay the same. But if you stay the same, you're actually dying because your marriage is dying off. Your just joy for life's dying off. Why do you think people have midlife crises and they want sports cars or trade in their wife for a 20-year-old or things like that? They want something different. When at the end of the day, they needed to become different, not their external circumstances. The external will never fix the internal, but when you fix the internal, it takes care of the external. I promise you that. So from this day forward, start seeing yourself as different. Please do me a favor, like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. I'm telling you, this is truly a ministry. If you want coaching, reach out to Tommy McAllister on Instagram and reach out to us and we'll see what we can do. But I just love you and I want the best for you. It's time to be different. God bless you. Much love.